Greetings, this is Frosty Thundertrod, Telnor Beastmaster of the Sundered Guard. And today I'm back on production server to record a little update about how PTR is going. As you just see, I kind of triggered a reaction just by turning on my OBS recording, because for some reason the PTR setting and Alpha 2 setting share the same file. So PTR changes kind of mess with your character settings in Alpha 2. Which is kind of annoying because I just had to reset all my controls, and apparently control star key, which is my key to start recording, is also the I'm stuck button. Didn't know that. Well, I guess I do now. But Alpha 2, of course, control server continues to be dead. It pretty much just exists for people like me to record a little bit of footage on, since we can't record what's happening on PTR. Looks like I've lost my citizenship from Halcyon for not coming on and paying my taxes. But on to PTR. So on PTR we've had the first test of the dynamic gridding system. I had a rain day at work, so I was actually able to participate in that. And it works. It wasn't foolproof, it had some bugs, but dynamic gridding does work. So that's a definite improvement. Visually, PTR is continuing to look much better than Shoal does. Especially with 5.6 on my video card, I can turn in ray tracing and go into the Lumen hardware ray tracing, which is a feature built into Unreal Engine, and the game looks amazing. Now, with that said, it drops my frames per second from 60 to 30. I've got a AMD Radeon 7800 XT. So it's a mid-range card, so it's not a top card, but it's a pretty decent card. I thought maybe at first that it was my CPU, which is a Ryzen 2 3600X, but after doing some checking, it's only using about a third of my CPU, but is definitely topping out my GPU, which I wasn't kind of expecting. I was expecting more to be more CPU bound, since the CPU is so much older than the GPU. But that does mean I don't need to upgrade my system anytime soon. I just might have to get a better video card, or just wait for my optimization. And while the ray tracing does look better, I don't think it's essential. And for that matter, since I play in tap target mode instead of action combat, I really don't need the high frame rate. The 30 frames per second is enough to trick the eye, you know, because that's like movie frame rate or console frame rate. But you would notice a difference if you're doing a high-speed action combat system. You would definitely notice the lag. See, right now I'm running around. This is 50 frames per second, so, you know, this is smooth playable. 30 is about the same. Another thing on the PTR, I don't get the stuttering when you cross from server worker to server worker the way we do here on Shoal. Of course, my wife has to call me the one time I'm recording a video. And so I found that was pretty good. Quest upgrades, quest rewards have been updated, and so have drops and equipment rebalancing. For the most part, I found it's okay. When you do commissions, you get a box with a reward in it, usually in the single digits of levels, which I've been playing mostly. It's like an XP scroll, either a crafting XP or a adventuring XP, which I really don't like, because the whole point of this game is that you're not supposed to level up quick, and I can imagine very rapidly that these XP scrolls will end up in the cash shop, becoming a pay-to-advance system. Which I really don't want to play a game that has a pay-to-advance system. The economic system is better. Right now we're running into so many bugs and we're getting frequent wipes, so it's really hard to test the economic system. But at least when you go out, you can find, zinc, you can find copper, you can find plenty of low-level animals to tame, which has been a continuous problem with Alpha 2. Especially the copper and the zinc, because it's hard to level up your weaponsmithing and your armor smithing if you just can't get the materials to do the work with. One thing that's kind of bothering me, though, it's not so much a problem with the game, but twice I've made bug reports that later on turned out that I made the entirely incorrect bug report. At one point, it was I was having problems completing a quest, and it turned out that it wasn't that the quest was bugged, it was just that I wasn't following instructions. I was trying to do it the way that I would do it here in Alpha 2, which would be just open the journal and click complete. But in the PTR, I needed to talk to the NPC again to complete it. So that wasn't an actual bug. That was just me not understanding what was going on. So if anything, that would be a feedback issue. Not an actual bug in the game. So end up submitting a erroneous bug report by accident. In another instance, I reported a bug where I was taming Grim, and the harvesting circle would do two pips on it and then would stop, and there would be no message that I got see, this is what I'm talking about. So it'd go 1, 2, and then stop. I want to keep going until completed. So I reported that it was impossible to complete the harvest. But it turns out the harvest was actually completing. It just wasn't filling the circle and wasn't doing the animation that the harvest had completed. So a little while later, after I'd reported the bug, I opened my inventory and, oh, there's 2 Grim corpses in here that I'd harvested. So in this instance, I submitted a bug report, saying it wasn't completing, when in truth the bug was that the animation wasn't firing. So hopefully they'll be able to backtrack, get the correct bug, not the bug I reported. Because if they look at the bug I actually reported, they're going to be chasing a rabbit hole, but maybe they'll find the actual bug that I didn't realize was the bug at the time. Now, it's always regretful when I end up making a mistake like that, but, I'm here to, test and make bug reports, and sometimes I'm wrong. And unfortunately, while I try to not necessarily, make a bug report all the time, right away all the time. I tried to, mess around with it a couple times to make sure. There was two instances where, turned out that I was wrong and probably wasted the developer's time on erroneous bug reports. Now, the final thing that I want to talk about is the possibility of Phase 3 being delayed. And at this point, I really think it does need to be delayed. What we're seeing on PTR, while it is progress, I don't think we're ready to call it a next phase. This is what we're doing now on PTR, by all rights, we should be doing on Shoal. Except for the character wipes, because people lose their mind over character wipes, even though this is alpha testing and character wipes are part and parcel of doing alpha testing. Hell, even beta testing character wipes aren't all that unusual. So I guess that's the reason why they're keeping Shoal, so, so-called up and alive, even though the server's really dead, so people who want to get on and, try to play an incomplete game, aren't getting wiped constantly, but they're still getting the data they need from a actual test environment where they are wiping as they need to. But I think that's about all I have to say about the PTR this week. Thank you very much for listening.